Alright, let's get back to Kenrith. So, to recap, Kenrith is the first 5-color deck I've made in a long time. Last one was Progenitus. Didn't really work, but I'm recycling a couple of the ideas that I liked into Kenrith. Namely, I'm only using basic lands. So, he only has 3 non-basic lands. Thawing Glaciers, Dissolving Wells, Cascading Cataracts. Then he's got 7 of each color basic land, because the colors are fairly distributed throughout the deck. The deck has no real theme. The theme is 5. There are 5 colors of magic. When I get to white, if you didn't see part 1, you'll see how I'm working the theme, as it were. Because Kenrith doesn't really lead me anywhere. He doesn't point any direction. He says, hey, work with creatures because I can give them trample and haste. I can give them counters. I can raise them from the dead. Okay, Kenrith, what tribe? That is for you to sort out, my subject. Do as thou willst. Alright, Kenrith, you're the man. So let's go to white. What I've done is, there are 5 artifacts, 5 mana rocks. There are 5 allied color cards. 1 black-blue, 1 blue-white, 1 green-white, 1 red-black, and so on. But I don't have the enemy color pairings because I did not have enough interesting enemy colored cards to complete the entire 5-card cycle. So I forewent it. For the other colors, each color has a card, 6 cards, from mana cost CMC 1 through 6. 6, I want to be some kind of a giant, some kind of titan. I want to top out something interesting. Also, anything below especially 5, I want to have as few colored pips as possible in order to cast out things, because again, I am just running basic lands. I don't have any shock lands, fetch lands, dual lands, pain lands, none of that I normally would have to help me out. So I've got to take that into account. The other restriction is I only use cards I actually own, just gathering dust in my art binder, or in other unused parts of my collection. And I would only buy 5 cards that I felt I really need to make the deck work the way I want it to work. So let's get on to white. Okay, the white 1 CMC card is Mother of Runes, as you can see, because I've been holding it up here for 2 minutes now. Tap target creature you control, gain protection from a color of your choice until end of turn, because her family protects all families. Okay, for white, I didn't have a whole lot interesting at 2. That's one of the problems with recycling. The cards are in my art binder because they're not in a deck for usually good reasons. They're not strong enough for a certain deck. Something is better than a given card, or I just have it for the art. Now, there are some cards that are good that I'm simply holding on to, waiting for the right deck. And a few of those have found their way into Kenrith. Dawn of Hope is not one of those cards. It's a card that I keep cutting from other decks. I just cut it from Frodo and Sam a couple days ago. So anyway, the reason I think it'll work here is, so I've got Braid of Fire. And let's say Braid of Fire, I've managed to have it in play 4 turns. So during my upkeep, it has 4 counters, I get 4 red. And I have Dawn of Hope and Kenrith in play. Let's say all 3 of those cards in play. I use the 4 mana from Braid of Fire, I spend 2 of it, and tap 1 white, gain 5 life. I spend the other 2 and draw a card. And if I need to, I can make a soldier. So, if I need to, during my upkeep, again, assuming that the Braid of Fire has a few counters on it, I can spend that colorless part and just tap whatever white I need to create some life-linking soldier tokens. So we'll see how that works. Alright, up for 3, I have Mirror Entity. This could very well have been Idyllic Tutor, because there are 3 enchantments I really want to get in play, really want to use in this deck. 2 of them are in competition, Blood Moon and Back to Basics. It kind of doesn't matter which one I get in play, as long as I get one in play. And then sneak attack. I really want to get sneak attack in play. But if I can make tokens, Dawn of Hope, if I'm making tokens with Bitter Blossom, because that was the best 2 CMC card I had for black. So again, Bird of Fire, let's say it's on 6. It's been going for a few turns. My opponents just don't care about it. If I have Mirror Entity in play, and I have, say, 4 Bitter Blossom flying 1/1 fairy tokens, I can spend that 6, dump it to the Mirror Entity. Now I have 4 6/6 flying fairy tokens, which is it's a more impressive threat. So for that reason, I'm plus he's foil. He's cool. So I've got Mirror Entity. The Wanderer. Again, for 4 in white. And to be honest, there's not a whole lot else that I can think of that I would put in this slot. This is pretty good in this slot. Prevent all non-combat damage that we dealt to myself and my permanents. Against some decks, this will be absolutely stellar. I will want this very badly in play against some decks. Against other decks, it's not going to do a whole lot. I'll just exile a couple things and then let her sit off to the side. It depends on how the game goes. Not every card works every time. Not every card is needed every time. This, it's kind of a sideboard card that I put in the main deck. Baneslayer Angel for 5. This is what I found for white. Fliegend, Erzschlag, Lebensverknüpfung. I don't speak German. Schutz vor Dämonen, Schutz vor Drachen. Okay, flying first strike, lifelink, protection from demons and dragons. She's cool. I like her. I haven't played her in a long time. And don't worry about the noise. It's just the cat playing with his ball. For 6, white is topping out for Sun Titan. Yeah, I put Sun Titan into a lot of decks. I like this card. I like it a lot. I like it that it comes into play and gives me something back. I like that he has vigilance, so he can attack and bring something back and then defend me when I need him to defend me. He is my blazing sun that never sets. And I had the Theros version in my art binder, so there we go. Alright, so that covers the 6 cards of each color that I put together. But that's not enough for the whole deck. So I started thinking about, okay, what do I want to do next? How do I want to finish this deck? So I took 3 cards for each color of some effect, something else I wanted or something else interesting in my collection that I wasn't using. And with these, I just ignored casting costs. I just, okay, what do I have that looks really fun to play? So for black, its 3 cards are Exsanguinate, 2 black X. Each opponent loses X life. I gain life equal to the life lost this way. This is another card, 4th card that I bought specifically for the deck. I don't have any board wipes in here. This is my only board wipe. Taking the chance that I don't need to burn up any big creatures. So Yeheni's Expertise. 4. All creatures get -3 until end of turn. It only hits about a third of my creatures. Most of my creatures are 4 toughness or bigger, and if I put counters on them, then maybe they'll be saved from Yeheni's wave of destruction. But this is cool. So all creatures get -3 until end of turn, and I may cast a card with CMC 3 or less from my hand without paying its mana cost, as part of it, as an add-on, as a side bonus. So Yeheni's Expertise. Talks with the Crows. I ordered this because I was reading that people hate it, they don't like it. I thought, that's kind of cool, that's kind of a cool effect. I have no deck I can put it in. If I put it in Sig, Noetic Scales is going to make me pick it up all the time. I don't want to put it in Phoenix because his toughness is the same as his power, so he doesn't fit the Phoenix theme. Or the Ikrashidiki Sidar Kondo theme, which both Phoenix and Ikrashidiki Sidar Kondo have a toughness matters theme for different reasons, but they both have the same theme. I never thought of that before. I should have, but I never considered that they have the same toughness theme. Anyway, the other black decks I have are Shroom. He's not an artifact. He will not go into Shroom. Muldrotha. I don't need him in Muldrotha. Who else do I have with black? Karavek. He could go in Karavek, but Karavek has enough big beaters. If he doesn't work here, maybe I will put him in Karavek. So what does this bastard do? So I cost 7 for a 7/7. That's nice. That's what stupid Gristlebrand should have been. 7/7/7. Because, 6/6/6, that with the gain life. Yeah, anyway. So at each end step, slime each creature I don't control. Slimed creatures get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. And whenever creature I don't control that has been slime dies, I get a black 1/1 slug creature token. Oh yeah, so that goes with the tokens. That goes with the Mirror Entity. And I can spend blue and black, sack a slug, draw a card. Decided I wanted another counter spell. I had Unwind. I don't have any counter spells that hit creatures. They're all non-creature. Maybe I should rectify that, but it's what I have right now. So Unwind, counter target non-creature spell, untap up to 3 lands. That's good. Accamancion. So Archaeomancer, when she comes into play, return an instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. She's the way of getting the counter spells back, the way of getting Mastermind's acquisition back, Yehani's expertise, whatever. She does work. Sphinx of the Second Sun. If you saw part 1, you might have remembered what I said about Lavinia the 10th, that it's important she says next turn, not next upkeep. Because he gives me a second upkeep, and it would be really shitty if I played Lavinia, detained all my opponent's CMC 4 or less non-land permanents, and then after my post-combat main phase, I get another upkeep and the effect was, that would suck. That would suck ass. I wouldn't like that at all. So anyway, the reason he's in here is I get another untap upkeep draw. So untap, nice. Upkeep, fuel the rate of fire, put another counter on it, add to that upkeep, draw another card. And he's a 6/6 flyer. And he looks impressive. And I can sneak him out if I have Kodama These Tree and I sneak him in play, then I can drop anything that's 8 or less into play along with him. I could drop Toxrill if I had in my hand. For green, so my green supplemental cards, Heroic Intervention. Why not? Give my stuff hexproof and indestructible until the end of the turn. Eternal Witness. Yes, I love the Eternal Witness. Bought this one a long time ago for the art. I just thought it was neat to have. I like my commander decks to have different arts on cards that I use across different decks. Sun Titan. I was really happy I finally got a Secret Lair version for Sigarda. Eternal Witness. I have this one. I have the alternate Therese Nielsen one, and then the other ones have the Mirrodin one. So when she comes into play, return target card from her graveyard to the battlefield. Basically Archaeomancer for anything. Where's the third green card? Son of a bitch, where's my... I'm just playing with you. So, in green I decided I wanted ramp. But I cheated. So this is the third green card. 3 mana, 2/2 elk, spend 3, sack it, search your library for up to basic land cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. And then he, if I've got nothing better in my graveyard going on, and I've got nothing else to do with my mana, I can spend 5 and resurrect the Burnished Heart to get more lands. So this is the third green supplemental effect. Red, I bet a lot of you have either not seen this guy ever, or haven't seen him in a long time. Goblin Tinker, I love the art. Look at his face. Can you see his face? He's grinning as he's messing with the artifact that's going to blow up in his face and kill him. and its tail is on fire already. It's like watching Electro Boom on YouTube. So anyway, 2 mana for a 1/2 goblin, 1 red, tap, destroy target artifact. That artifact deals an amount of damage equal to its CMC to Goblin Tinkerer. If I had the Wanderer in play, since that's non-combat damage, it wouldn't do anything to him. So I'd just blow up an artifact, and he would shrug it off, if I had the Wanderer in play. Okay, red, I was looking through my collection. I have this signed Thunder Dragon. I don't know when the hell I got it. I don't know where I got it, but I've got it. So let's put it in play. And yeah, I've got a lot of high casting cost, high CMC cards in here, but I've got Sneak Attack and Quicksilver Amulet, and I'm really hoping I get one of those to help me out. Or Back to Basics or Blood Moon works, and my opponents are so choked out that I've got time to catch up to casting things for 7. So anyway, this bastard is a 5/5 flyer for 7, which is really crappy these days. That's really bad stats with the one ability he has. When he enters the battlefield, he deals 3 damage to each creature without flying. Again, thinking about it, that is non-combat damage, isn't it? So maybe it is good that I have the Wanderer. And then I've got Drakoseth Maul Flames. Alright, let's go from 7 to 7. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5. Yeah. Initially, I looked at that red and I thought it was 8. Reading scheme. Hey, he's 7, 7, 7. Kind of like Toxrill. Huh. Neat. Anyway, this legendary dragon, flying, of course, whenever he attacks, deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. So I can drop him in play if I don't sneak him out. If I just do Quicksilver Amulet or hardcast him, Kenrith can give him Hample and Traced. He can get Hample and Traced until the end of the turn if I have the excess mana. Hample and Traced, Jesus Christ. Guardian of Faith. So, I need some backup. I need some way of dealing with board wipes. This is my way of dealing with board wipes. And I looked up the rules just to be sure I was thinking correctly. And if I sneak creatures into play, if they phase out, I don't have to sacrifice them. Phasing is kind of weird. And since it doesn't come up that often, in fact, the only card I can think of that anybody really plays with phasing is Teferi's Protection, and now this guy, but I've never seen anybody else play him. I wanted to be sure that, so I sneak some creatures out. At the end of the turn, I have to sacrifice them. Well, I can sneak him into play, phase them out, or I can just flash him into play, phase them out, and at the end of the turn, I do not have to sacrifice them. So that's my, or if somebody's just going to Wrath of God, I can protect my creatures. Anyway, Guardian of Faith. Next supplemental white. 5 for a 3/4 flying lifelinker. Whenever I gain life, eh? So, spending 3 to gain 5 life, and then putting a +1/+1 counter on all my creatures is a hell of a lot more efficient than spending 1 in a green and putting them on my creatures individually. Wouldn't you agree? So Archangel now, yeah, here we go. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to sneak her into play. Avacyn, Angel of Hope. 8 mana for an 8/8 vigilant, flying, indestructible, shiny angel of purity and death. And she makes everything else I have indestructible, which is nice. Duplicate. So now, those are the extra effects I have in each color. And then what I did is I took 5 more artifacts, +1 to round out, because I have, including the commander, so I have 38 lands. Then the commander, that's 39. And then I need another card to hit 60, or sorry, 40. And then 60 cards in the main deck, 60 regular cards, +1. Anyway, math. So duplicate. When he comes into play, I may exile target non-token creature, which of course I would, because that's the whole reason I have the damn thing. and as long as he exiles a creature, he has its power, toughness, and creature types. Salam Simulacrum. Yeah, you know, sneak his ass into play, go get a land, and then at the end of the turn he dies and I draw a card. Do his job. Spell Skite. This is one of the good cards I had sitting in the binder. Not in any deck for whatever reason. So, blue or 2 life, change the target of target spell or ability to Spell Skite. So, should protect Kenrith. Randomly I can steal enchantments, but hardly anybody enchants their creatures anymore. Any damage to something that I want to prevent to that creature, I can have the Spell Skite soak it up. You know how it works. Nihil Spellbomb. I need a way of dealing with graveyards. This deals with graveyards. So sack it, exile cards from somebody's graveyard, pay a black and draw a card while you're doing it. Quicksilver Amulet. I need a backup for sneak attack. This is a good backup. 4 to use. Choose a creature card in your hand, throw that into play, and watch your opponents shit themselves. Something like that. Sword of Hearth and Home. Do you know how much Sword of the Animus costs these days? Maybe I'm wrong, but I recall Sword of the Animus being a 20 to 25 euro card in foil. Am I wrong? Was it never that high? I think it was that high because I remember looking for them months ago, a year ago, and they were really expensive. But I found this guy, so I sold the card, I had some MCAM credit, and this guy had a foil Origins Sword of the Animist for 10 euro. And I thought, when did that card become that cheap? I don't remember it being that cheap. Anyway, the reason I mention it is I'm thinking about taking out Sword of the Animist, or putting in Sword of the Animist for Sword of Hearth and Home. I have this in here now because I was able to trade for it. Nobody had Sword of the Animist foils that I could find in Prague, but a couple lads had Sword of Hearth and Home. So the equipped creature gets +2/+2, pro green, pro white. Whenever it connects with an opponent, exile up to one target creature I own. So it doesn't have to be my creature. Well, it does have to be my creature, but it doesn't have to be under my control. If somebody has seized control of one of my creatures, I can equip a creature as Sword of Hearth and Home, smash into somebody, and it doesn't have to be that same person. I could smash into this guy over here, and this guy over here that has stolen my creature. I can say, okay, that creature I own, I'm exiling it, returning it to play under my control, and I'm also going to go look for a basic land and put them both on the battlefield under my control. So it's not just for the blink effects, it's also to rescue things that have been stolen from me, because I've noticed the lads have started to play a lot more theft effects. So anyway, that's Kenrith. That's what I've got. That's the deck as I've built it. I'm really keen now to shuffle it up and goldfish it, see if it works, see if it is effective as I hope it's going to be. And tonight I'm taking it to the pub. See how it plays in the real world. Anyway, that's it. Cheers.